Oh, we got a Joker in chat. Okay. Okay. Yo, her dark and twisted. Yo, she's a lady. Okay? She's a fucking lady. Okay, you were pre-prison. She's a very woman. Treat her as such. Brother. No fuck on the stage. Okay? Lucky get holding.
Hello, hello, testing, testing. All right, so we will start in the midst of it. Sorry about that, chat. To our right, we have Million Live, looks like. Some of the power-up sets. Looks like IAS, which is the original 765 group, versus the new ones in the new mobile game, versus our resident Nisekoi player, who I'm sure you guys have known before. Just playing Climax just because he can. Maybe just trying to do damage. Maybe he's out a bunch of CXs. I didn't really see the beginning of it, but hey, it sticks. Times to work out. I wonder if he used Miki's effect to give it an extra soul. I don't think he did. For those who know, Miki's the Brainstorm, the red one, he's just starting to swing there. That if you play a Climax, you may check the top of your deck. If it is a music character, you may give a soul to another character. Now, based on the amount of soul damage he did on the Azusa, he probably didn't give it to her. And with our Nisekoi player, a little bit of a, I wouldn't say standard build, because he does have the level 1 Marika salvage combo, on reverse, of course. But at the same time, he plays like kind of the long con, in which like he tries to keep his resources as low as possible. Usage, I mean, as low as possible. So he's just building up the stock. If he has the red stock CX, he's just going to play that. And just build stock until he hits late game. So he's just going to try to compress right before it, and then play the Onoderas, which is the JP Onodera, which is the search for another music character on play. If there are 2 more pendants, early play. He does fetch the level 1 Climax combo on reverse salvage Marika, because he does have the CX in hand. Use the pendant to try to get it, so it makes sense. Easy reverses across the board. There's not really much you can do in the board state for the Million Live player, so just gonna have to happen. Yep, there you go, drops it. Now there are, I think, at least 2 out for the Million Live player. I don't know how much else, but he does eat the 3 as well. So, you know, an eye for an eye, if you will. On reverse goes to memory, it looks like, so that's nice for compression for the Azusa. 2 sticks, reverse happens, and so he fetches another Raku, which is fine because Raku is a very good card, as you guys know. Global 500, and on play you may ditch a card to salvage a pendant. The unfortunate thing, Million Life player took all the damage. So let's see if he can retaliate this turn. A bunch of zeros are still out. I'm actually kind of unsure of the level 1 game from this particular Million Life player. I know he runs the blue restanding combo, I think it was. The Chihaya 3-2. Brainstorms. Does he hit anything? I don't think he did. He does have another climax in hand. I believe he runs the I want combo, which is the 1-0 Haruna. Might be Haruka. Anyways, it's yeah, that's the 1-0 he was looking for. Very strong 1-0. There's only kind of 2 cards of its kind that's ever been made in Weiss Schwarz so far. Her being the original, which is a climax combo which rests all your opponent's standing characters, and for every character that becomes rested on your opponent's side, so this includes brainstorms or attacking, she gains 1/5 every time. So an extremely bulky defensive wall if played off turn, because if your opponent brainstorms and it's like a rest 2, that's a 3k that she gets. Inherently a little bit small, of course, to offset, but there you have it. Unfortunately, he doesn't have another swing, so it's a little bit questionable what he has in his hand, but does have the blind stock. He didn't check it with the Miki though, so he really should be checking it with the Miki every time you play the a climax. You can use the power-up set Miki to check the top to see if it is a climax or not that you have blind stock, because the I want climax combo is a really old one, right? IMAS being a very old set, and so that one in particular is the top card of your deck goes to stock, right? Blind stock, so you don't know. But Miki allows you to see what it is, assign soul, and then kind of still swing. Especially since Haruna isn't exactly the largest card on your turn, especially if they use up other cards, right? Especially in this case, you can see the Nisekoi play doesn't have any standing characters going into this, right? So so the power would have just been nothing, right? Because the climax combo is also a stock soul, right? Quote unquote stock soul. It's top of deck stock soul, so it gets no power. So Haruka is very intrinsically weak. The Miki allows it to get another another soul. And so if you side like a level 1 or anything like that, you do get the quote unquote normal output of the CX combo. But those are level 0s, so I mean, it doesn't really matter. You probably got over them anyways. He does play the pendant. Now, resting those 2 characters, the Haruka does get 3k. Because every time his character rests. So any further attacks will also increase the Haruka, right? So generally speaking, for the Nisekoi player, he needs to find a big card and swing at it first, because every time you don't swing at it, it's just gonna get big. That being said, though, the Nisekoi player does run the suicide bombs. That is the Marika he just played, which is a check top, and if there's a pendant in the memory, it gains the ability to bomb any level 1 or lower, which is basically just reversing them, right? Doesn't matter the power. So yeah, he opts not to do it though. He's probably trying to figure out if he can just beat it over normally with the large Chihaya, not Chihaya. Sorry, I'm getting my nicks mixed up because Chihaya is the 3-2 on the IMAS side. Chitoge. The 1-0 Shitoge, which gets 2k if there's a pendant in the memory. So it's active right now. Yeah, plays another Raku if he wants another pendant, but I don't think he's using the cost. He just wants the global 5. And then a climax combo just to deal extra soul. I mean, he is in the damage lead right now, so trying to push his advantage this way. Million Life didn't trigger any climaxes or anything of the sort last time, though, so like it might cancel. Strictly speaking, based on this view right now, there is a lot out of the Million Live player's deck, so I don't know how much of his deck is left or how many climaxes are left as well. So see how it goes. Oh yeah, so there was very little left. He has to shuffle his deck first, actually. He has to shuffle his deck first. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the way that works is, of course, is when he dealt the 2 damage and the deck ran out, the game always checks to see if there's 0 cards in your deck, and as soon as there's 0 cards, it is an interrupt action in order to shuffle the deck. And at this point, the damage hasn't exactly stuck yet, so he technically still didn't have 7 damage to level up. So he must perform the deck refresh function first. The only time that ever happens where you get to choose between 2 interrupts, because level up is an interrupt as well, is if you have like a card that encores with the clock, and that from the top of deck or whatever, and it just so happens that it is the 7th card, then you get to choose. And of course, generally speaking, you would like to shuffle first, right? Because those are 7 cards that you don't want going back into your waiting room, which then consequently goes back into your deck. So level 2, canceled relatively well. He gets another, so he draws 2 I-1s, but he did salvage one of the 1-0s from last turn. So let's see what he wants to do. He is a bit low on stock right now just because the opponent pushed him like quite far. On the other side of the board, there is a level 1 bomb active in the middle, as well as a pretty large Chitoge that is the 1-0. So we'll see how it goes. He does have 1 standing character, so he'll get 15, but not too much. Hey, Sigma Flare, how's it going? Yeah, it is indeed our resident Nisekoi player. Plays kind of a unique variant to him. It's a little bit of a mix of English and Japanese. The Japanese cards, of course, includes the 1 copy of the Marika and the 3-2 Onoderas that he runs. I believe as a 4 of, somewhere around there. Yeah, so he's opting to, of course, hit the smaller stuff. As I mentioned, the Harukas don't get big at all. He has to rest his characters. Oh my god! And the blind stock was another climax. So he's actually out a lot, chat. It's not looking good. But if there is a way to refresh his deck relatively soon, hopefully he'll have a way to do it. It's going to be a rough little bit yet, especially since he's almost halfway to level 3. I don't know if he has all the tools he has in order to do such a thing. And he triggers another one! Oh my god, dude. That's like 4 in a row. Oh my god. That's rough. That's so rough. Yeah, there we go. There's the climax combo. Gets the 1500. But yeah, this is when he needs to start using the Miki brainstorms effect, right? Every time he plays a CX, he can check top. I mean, in this case, he wouldn't have gotten the additional soul, but as a result, he might have opted to not maybe opted. You have the choice right now to if you wanted a side attack or not, right? Especially with the level 0 bomb. Well, there's his end game, so that cancels, unfortunately. He reversed it in preempt, assuming that oh no, level 2 is on the opponent's turn. Yeah, there we go. So ideally he would also have moved his Makoto to behind the 2 Harukas as well, right? I feel like that was a little bit of misplay. For those who don't know, Makoto off turn gives characters in front of it plus 500 and an extra level, right? So the Harukas get a lot of attack if they brainstorm or they attack it like kind of later after like the 2nd or 3rd swing, because by then you'd get like maybe 6k, right? But Makoto in the back kind of ensures that they can't even side for damage if we're strictly talking about the level 1 game, because you're level 2, and so the amount of soul that they deal is significantly less. But Nisekoi quite in the strong position. Not even level 2 with like 7 stock. I believe relatively clean. I'm not sure. Yeah, just in front. Yeah, so a little bit of a misplay by the Million Live player. Always want to keep your Makoto behind your Harukas, because Miki's effect is just on your turn. It doesn't really matter where she is. And so with the 3-2 in hand now, the Nisekoi player is actually really set, right? He can find the Marika right now, as well as he has the ability to Onodera into Onodera into Onodera, because that is a thing, because one Onodera calls several Onoderas. For those that don't know, the Japanese Onodera 3-2 is the on play. Sorry, you can early play it if you have 2 or more pendants, and if you do, search for another character, right? So if you have the stock, then you just keep calling them. Yeah, see, yeah, after all those climaxes, you just straight to level 3. It's so rough. He also didn't see those runners that he runs too at the beginning. Oh my god, dude. Well, let's see what Million Live has to offer right now. Just one card in stock too. Like, he can't even play the 3 like any 3-2 if you really if you wanted to. That's so rough. Like, that refresh into 4 CXs, just like, how does anyone come back from that, really? So that being said, yeah, would you have, like, as the IMAS player, I think I would have sided the Suicider, because if you used the Meek effect, you would have seen, like, the next trigger was a climax, which is the I1 climax, which is a 2-soul trigger, right? And as a result, I would have swung with that first to do side damage, which would have been, if you played I1 as well, it would have been 3 damage, even with the side, right? And that's pretty respectable. And then would have kept that card in the next turn, on the opponent's turn. He would have it would have been level 2, right? So the bomb would no longer work. Yeah, it gets the Miki, but I mean, I like 3-2 Miki's good because it's just a check top burn. But I mean, he has no way to play level 3s. Like, it's actually so rough right now, and he's 4 cards away from dying. While the opponent's just at level 1. Like, just such an unfortunate, like, turn of events. And like, look at that stock from Nisekoi. Like, they've actually, like, just done nothing, like, all game, right? They've just swung 3 times, like, per round, while IMAS just kept losing cards and not canceling. Not canceling is also a thing. So you can see how lopsided, like, Weiss can be. If one side just doesn't cancel. Yeah, see, like that's just that. I don't know what to say, chat. Like, you never want to see this. Like, level 3, no stock, and 1 card to swing at level 3. Like, I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. And now Nisekoi just has to, like, go face, right? If they want to do exact damage, so at this point, Nisekoi, you're just trying to see how much damage you're gonna do. He drew a CX. He's not gonna do it because he can just run 2-2-2. Now it'll be 3, which is also fine. He'll overswing a bit, but, like, why does that matter? Doesn't matter. Especially since he was gonna deck out anyways. That was rough, chat. Oh my goodness. And he didn't draw into his level 1 combos. It didn't look like, so, like, just. Oh my god, dude. My heart goes out to the IMAS player because I love IMAS, but what are you gonna do? Nisekoi played his game, got everything he needed to get, really. It's just an unfortunate fact that, like, no cancels on the IMAS player's side. Ah, god, dude. Yeah, Audrey. Like, it was just, it's not good. Like, Again, like you never want to see that as a Weiss player. Like if you know, like I'm sure Nisekoi didn't even want to. Like, of course you have to win, right? But like, not like this, you know. I've been receiving end of one of those beatings, but not fun for IMS. Pretty good right now, so I suspect they can recover it. They can get the over the salty scars from that one. Yeah, IMS is in a pretty good place. A lot of new tools for it in the latest set, the Million Lives set, of course. A few cards to kind of bolster the existing set, but a lot of nifty stuff for the new idols in the Million Lives set. You have the standbys. That being said, I mean the old cards got access to standby too because Haruka is has a standby combo of her own. But yeah, the Katori, I think that's her name. The Katori 3/2 finisher, definitely high ceiling finisher. Early play heal. I mean, you can't say no to early play heal. Yeah, like overall, like very solid. And our resident Nisekoi player seems to always be able to get away with just playing Nisekoi, no matter what. But that being said, that's not to throw salt at Nisekoi. Nisekoi, since its release of its restrictions, will always do what it aims to do, right? Was that first round? Yes, that was the first round, Audrey, which was Nisekoi versus 765 IMAS with some of the new stuff from the Million Live set. Yeah. That's the new term I keep hearing is standby. Yeah, Sigma Flare. So recently, relatively recently, Bushiroad introduced a new red CX. So it is only for red CXs, where the standby is the new symbol on it, and that's what people keep saying. So when you play it, if you play the climax or if you trigger the climax, you may choose one card in your waiting room that is equal to +1 your level or lower, and play it rested anywhere on your stage. So you get access to level 1s at 0s, level 2s at 1, level 3s at level 2. Gives you an extra card. The trade-off, of course, is it doesn't give you soul or power when you play the CX. So it's a kind of delayed benefit kind of deal. So the nifty thing about standby is for older sets that get like newer sets that has standby, you have sort of a plethora of cards that without standby, you just look at it like, and I generally bring up the 2/2 examples. So level 2/2s for level 2s that cost 2 that has 2 soul. Generally speaking, those are more expensive and not worth it to play. But with standby, they become more feasible as at level 1. If you have like a 2/2 wall with 2 soul, like it's very hard to get over. A deck that does this really well right now is Overlord, where it has an inherent 2/2 and has an additional effect where it's also huge, by the way. But it has an additional effect if it direct attacks. It also you get to stock one from waiting room, and since it's huge, generally speaking, you're like crashing into it if you're the opposing player, and which leaves up a direct attack slot for Cocutus, the 2/2, to be able to generate stock in that way. Many of the sets that do have standby now also print like a 2/1 or a 2/2 or a 1/1 with Encore, as well as getting power on based on traits. So it has staying power, and you get to play it out early, right? So you just sit on those cards for as long as possible until you kind of hit late game, and then you just play your stuff, right? And with the effect of just early plays in general, you can see how strong having an early play, quote unquote, a card can be, right? Their powers is generally higher. They're harder to kill if the opposing player is not of equal level, and so if you are at an advantageous position, they solidify it quite well. If you're behind, it's a little bit harder, but of course, the catch-up mechanic is like you have a 2/2, right? You'll be doing, or maybe you have a 2/2 or whatever have you that comes out earlier that does more damage, right? Or yeah, no, it's okay, Sigma Flare. I'm more than happy to explain during the downtime that is between round 1 and round 2. Always nice to answer questions, right? So standby it's weird. I have to say, going from never playing to standby to playing standby, your mindset has to kind of change, and like you don't get it the first couple times. In Bang Dream, I used to bring a 2/1 at level 1 that says if you front attack it, it can replace it with a certain level 3 from my hand. Standby 6 also has a combo with the 1/0 during a series, pay a stock, and stand a card. Yeah, right. So it introduces a lot of nifty things into the game that allows you to like early play even a level 3 at level 1, right? Depending on what cards you use. So it's good in that regards. As Audrey mentioned, in Bang Dream, you can do it. And there are standby combos. Sorry, let me take a step back. There are cards that combo with standby. And generally speaking, you pay 1 and you get to stand a card after you standby something, so you get to use it right away, right? The trade-off, of course, is the fact that generally speaking, of course, the 1/0 that combos with the standby trigger generally isn't very strong of a card, so it's very easily beaten over, and it might not even beat over other things. One that really comes to mind is the Jibril in No Game No Life, where it just gets 1/5 on play of a CX, but other than that, it's like really right? But I digress. And of course, those combos cost 1 stock. In the general meta game right now, you kind of people try to stray away from having costing combos at level 1 because you just want to build that stock, right? I mean, obviously, you might have to brainstorm every now and then, or pay for a cost every now and then, or drop search or whatever have you. But you wouldn't want to pay too much. Mine is a 1/0 5K with no other abilities outside of the CX combo. Yeah, right. So there you go. And as I mentioned, standby doesn't pump power or give soul, right? So that's the trade-off, right? So your 105k, which may have boosts in the back row, right? Let's say 5 to another 1k, 6k. 6k is actually quite weak in terms of today's metagame. There's a lot of things that sits at like 5k, 5 base, right? And then you never know when the 1k backup is coming. But let us move on to the second round, where it looks like we have Love Live Sunshine to the right and Goblin Slayer to the left. So to be noted, it looks like it is the it is the yellow build, the Goblin Slayer yellow build, which is pretty nifty. There's a brainstorm that brainstorms 6, but you have to hit a particular climax in order for it to allow you to search. I think it was. Overall, a very explosive endgame deck with the dwarf. You mill, I think it was 5 cards after a 6 combo and paying for 3, I think, and you burn 1 every time. Based on every soul trigger that you milled, right? So if you mill a climax, that's another one. That's another one because in this quote unquote meme build, I think it's pretty legit. It's you run like 8 shots, so. Okay, so free runner, and there we go. So full field from the Loveline Sunshine. Very interesting to, generally speaking, unless you're like very confident in your hand to come or that you'll be plussing, you generally never full field on the first or second turn, because that's just asking for cards to be lost. But I'm not sure, right? How it goes, so we'll see. See how it goes. All right. So he lost his runner because, I mean, he tri-fielded. Runner, of course, is a very good profile. As I mentioned previously, I think last week, or I didn't mention last week, of course, but 2 weeks ago because I played last week. It's a very nifty card. First profile of its kind, where the runner actually can get additional soul by returning 2 cards from the waiting room. 2 character cards, sorry, from the waiting room into deck. That actually won me the game last week, where I shouldn't have stuck 5, but I did stick 5. So, yeah, good card. It can also run, right? Free runner, so it's good. Goblin Slayer, a little bit of a pinch here because you want only 1 card, right? He was probably expecting his runner to live, and unfortunately, it did not. So, we also saw Love Live Sunshine also flex the fact that he also has a runner. Not that it matters in this case, but it's another card he gets to keep. So his level 0 game is still fine, right? Depends how much more he wants to commit. So yeah, he does keep checking cards with I think her name is Mary. Not too sure, but it does gives you a top check, and then you get to discard and draw 1 at 2. I think search. So you get to search. What a good card. He gets his level 1 combo. Yeah. So I know I always mix up their names, but I know for sure that's not Johanne. Let me just pull up this. let me search up Love Live Sunshine right now. Get you that name of the card. But anyways, yeah. So the level 0 game is fine. Like Love Live Sunshine just is fine with the level 0 game, right? It's Yo. Okay, so it's Yo versus Johanne, right? Let me just double check here. Yeah, okay. She's the brainstormer for the deck. The 1-0 he runs is the on reverse top 2 add 1 combo, I think. So it's actually the it's not Yo, I don't think. What was her name? Oh, might be Yo. I remember I screwed this up last time. Dia, it's Dia is the 1-0. There we go. That's the name. It's Dia. Again, a full field here. He's just building up the stock. I mean, we'll Can't complain, right? Setting up his level 1 game. The Goblin Slayer uses the 1/0 high the elf that, you know, can only allow you to use one event at a time. Not that it matters in this case, because Love Life Ascension doesn't run like any events. So, yeah, just building up stock here. 3. He doesn't care about on reverse combos. I don't. Excuse me. I don't think just because like, he can throw back whatever Goblin Slayer can dish out. Goblin Slayer looks like out already 3 CXs. Might have one in hand for his level 1 combo as well. Another cancel. Bit fortuitous. Yeah, 1, 2. So cancels 1, eats 2. That's not too bad. Still within distance. Now the real question is, does he have any cards in order to get the stuff that he needs? He gets another runner. I mean, he has an empty slot, but I mean, the Yo can run there. Yeah, so he gets the 1/0. He does have a climax in hand as well, so he'll need to probably try to compress or mill out his deck as soon as possible to try to refresh as soon as possible. The 1/0 dwarf is actually kind of funny. If you do trigger the particular CX, he just salvages. So there you go. He opts not to brainstorm. Mill runner hits the mill. See what he wants to do. Is he going to return 2 cards? He is. So again, there's the effect I was mentioning. He's returning his early play Goblin Slayer. The double early play Goblin Slayers makes sense. The early play Goblin Slayer is if you have 4 or more cards on your field, you can early play this, and then on play you may discard a card to search for an event. I think he runs the bounce event and the torches, so those are the targets that he can hit. And so the extra soul did come into effect there. It did stick. So we are on equal levels here with 2 more swings from the Goblin Slayer. 1, 2. Nope, cancels. And last one. Oh, he gets to salvage, I think. Yeah. What's the, see? Okay, so he notices that he has the Yos in the waiting room. For those who don't know, Yo being in the waiting room, I think it's Yo. It's the burner, the 3/2 early play burner. Well, not early play. It gets called by the early play. I might have that name wrong, and apologies if I do. Let me just quickly check. Oh God. It is not Chica. Yeah, so it's the Yo. Yo burns. Milltop burn. And it gets called by the Chica, I think. Or the yeah, that does sound about right. Which requires another card to be in your clock, the 2/1. Which I think was all in his waiting room, but he can easily refresh his deck. But yeah, Goblin Slayer got off his turn, so now just kind of waiting to see what Sunshine's gonna do. The 1/0 on reverse mill 3 cards and salvage equal to the triggers revealed in the 3 cards. Yes, yeah. That's what it was. I did not finish explaining that effect. He milled 3, so revealed 2 soul triggers. So Love of Sunshine kind of wondering how far you can push the damage. There is a lot of CXs out for Goblin Slayer. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like. He didn't trigger any. I don't think he's in his hand, so there might be 3 more left. I don't think he triggered any either, so good shape because he didn't mill the 3 with one of the elves. He has a torch in hand too, so he can mill further if he gets attacked. He does have red in his clock. So he also has the interceptor in his level, so he can use red. But of course, we also do know that he hits a salvage, Lola Sunshine. player hits a salvage. We do know that he has a lot of the Dias ready to go. Yeah, on reverse, of course. Check top 2, add 1. At least that's what I think the Diaz effect is. Yeah, there you go. Tri-field with the SP Flex drops the CX combo. And so I don't really see a problem with them beating over the entire wall that is the Goblin Slayer. None of them are like fundamentally big off turn or anything like that. So it's just gonna be you know, a plussing fest by Lovely Sunshine, I reckon, unless there's a backup that the Goblin Slayer will play. Nope. Takes it, and yeah, he's beginning to shuffle his deck. Draws his first one. I think the player is just wanted to check if it was, draw 2 and then ditch 1, or draw up to 2 and then ditch 1. Because if it's draw up to 2 and ditch 1, he can only choose the 1 card. Which seems to have been the case, yeah. So it's up to 2. Damn. So all that damage also stuck, so Goblin Slayer at level 2. Adds the 2 in hand, of course, so he's ready for the his level 2 early play game. Which, as I mentioned, is the call Chica to get Yo out to burn. However, Lovely Sunshine player has refreshed, so the Yos are no longer in his waiting room. So he'll need a way to send them there. Yeah, so Goblin Slayer opted not to use the torch, just because he doesn't know where the climaxes were. Looks like nowhere. Probably last couple of cards. How many cards does he have? About 5 left in the deck. Clock draw 2. Is he gonna get 1? Hopefully not 2. Of course I jinxed it. Yeah, so we got 2. He's probably wondering where they all were during that bout of damage. Yeah. So he uses Torch, finds a 1/0 elf. He has a climax combo. I mean, that being said, the drawing 2 isn't like oh, that's rough. That's rough. I was gonna say that the 2 CXC fold wasn't the worst because of course he has one of each of the climaxes. There's a Brainstorm 6, but I don't think it was a particular Brainstorm. It has to be the high elf one, I think. We'll see. No, he hit the right one. Allows him to salvage 1. Well, I mean, he just plays the runner. Plays the 1/0. Mills 2. Yeah. Gets 6 foot a card in the stock. He's fine with that. Trying to see if what he'll salvage because of the high elf climax combo. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he's going to return 2 of the Goblin Slayers back. He wants to have more Soul Triggers back into his deck, of course, because of how his endgame works, which is he wants as many Soul Triggers as possible. Hopefully he has the 3/2 Lizard Shaman in hand, which calls the Dwarf from Waiting Room. Okay, so that sticks. That's nice. 3 damage. Gets a shot trigger. That's not the best, of course, because he doesn't want to be triggering any more climaxes after losing 3 cards, 3 climaxes already, so he's already down to half from his deck. Okay, so he gets to salvage 2. Yeah, so he salvages the lizard, so it's good. Keeps the 3/2 dwarf in the waiting room, because of course, that's where he should be, because the lizard salvages for him. Yeah, he's just gonna crash there for 2. Everything sticks, so that was nice. If he is just at the cusp of 3, that would be amazing. But we'll see. At 2-4, it's a little bit rough. If he was at any higher damage, might be able to be in kill range. That being said, though, Goblin Slayer just as effective at 2-4 because of the Dwarf's effect, which is the burn 1 x equal x amount of times, right? But depending on how many he mills. Stock Weiss he's ready. The Dwarf Climax combo is quite costly, so I think in total you need 6. 2 to play the Lizard Shaman, 1 for the summon from Waiting Room based on the Shaman, and then additional 3 for the Dwarf Climax combo. That being said, though, if you play like a Musashi, which is a 3/2 elf, you might be able to swing 3 times and then get the Dwarf enough stock in order to burn. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, he's trying to find the Marys because Marys allows him to search and ditch a card, right? Which allows him to ditch for the Yo if it's not already in there. I'm not sure if it is, or if it's in his hand, it allows him to ditch the Yo into his hand to allow the early play. Looks like he's just opting not to, though. I'm not sure. Let's see what he does. He is at 2-4. Maybe if he doesn't want to expend the energy, spend the stock. He is kind of low on stock, right? But 3 is just the amount you need to get the Chica, pay 1, and for the Yo. So debating what he wants to pitch. He does have another blue CX in hand, so I mean he can still might still plus off the 2 Dias remaining. Sorry, the level 1 Dias. He does have like also another Dia out on the field, so not to be mistaken. I'm meaning the 2 furthest away from the bottom there. Chat that on reverse draw up to 2, choose 1 at to hand. Yeah, so if he searches for the Yo, no, sorry, the Yohane. So, sorry, what's her name? I always Yoshiko, right? I think that's her name, which is the Musashi of the Love of Life Sunshine. But here we go. Triggers the wind, might be wind. No bounce. Might be a 2-soul. Cancels. It's nice. If he takes just 1 form of damage here to make him not too high into level 3, that'd be ideal. But he will be sent to level 3. And then the final swing. So if he blocks this, he's in good shape. Yeah, there you go. So that's actually like kind of exactly where Goblin Slayer wants to be. With the yellow, of course, I don't think there's too much that heals. The lizard might heal 1. I'm not too sure. We'll see if he clocks and then heals, but I'm not too sure. The rest of his deck is kind of low. I think he's just looking at how many soul triggers he has in there. Because of course the whole crux of the level 3 of this yellow build of Goblin Slayer is you want as many soul triggers in your deck as possible. See if he also wants to keep the 1-0. I surmise that he probably won't. But I guess he's also debating. I feel like the runner should have also died too. He might have not reversed it yet, so he might like the L's just might be gone. See if the other player mentions. I'm not sure if he sided, but there's no reason not like to really side. The 0-0. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, both gone. So let's see what our friend wants to do here. Goblin Slayer friend. Checking the rest of his cards. I mean, he can force a refresh, but at that point, will he have enough stock to do what he wants to do is the real question then. Draws 2. Oh, man. Probably didn't want to see them because those were soul triggers. Or at least one of them was. Still a lot left in the deck, of course. But I mean, if you brainstorm twice, then you mill 12. So. So 3 and 1 more. So he hits 1. They were all soul triggers. That's a bit rough. So he would have been fine. I feel like he would have been fine. But I guess he didn't want a chance at chat. Which is also fine, right? At this point, he can just drop the Musashis and try to do max damage before he ensures the end with the Lizard Shaman as well as the... Yeah, so the Shaman does heal. Yeah, so my memory was correct in that case. Will he play the extra? Yeah, no, he's just going to go... Yeah, just going to go with the Musashis. And build back a couple stock, looks like. I mean, he just needs to swing right now. No, really no hesitation. Because why would he? Oh, he uses the effect to play the dwarf over the shaman. Dwarf allows you to draw a card. So yes, so he got a torch. Got a torch, so that allows him to, that can allow him to mill the rest of his deck. Send it back. Oh no, he's just gonna straight out swing. Musashi for 3. For 4. Cancels. He has to shuffle his deck because he is performing refresh, and then he'll check the top. Bam. Burn for 1 because he milled a 0. Doing it again for 3. Yeah, so we'll see, chat. Like, it's still very killable right now. If this all sticks, all the more. If it doesn't, depends on the Musashi burn. Oh, so it sticks. He also has to perform refresh, of course. But very doable. If the dwarf damage sticks and then he burns, then it's very close. But seeing as there's a lot that he hasn't canceled yet, I do expect to see some cancels soon. Refresh? Yes. That's rough. Alright, so dwarf, pay 3. He's gonna mill, so he does the burns first, sorry. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy. Yeah. Oh, this allows him to side. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god. I think he could have sided there for the exact damage, but... Oh my god. Jesus. Oh, mill 4. Whoa. Oh boy. Well there you go. Like I said, like 2-4 was still in range, right, for Goblin Slayer. So Goblin Slayer's endgame packs quite the punch. A little bit rough. And all you need is double Double Musashis, one lizard in hand. Dwarf in waiting room. One could kind of debate on if whatchamacallit, if Love Life Sunshine wanted to contest the early play. Maybe he was just afraid of losing the cards, losing his cards at the level 2 game and having nothing for level 3 against the Goblin Slayer who was already at level 3. So we'll see. But I mean, game's close. Game was extremely close. If Sunshine had a few more cancels go his way, he would have been fine. I think if he canceled the second Musashi and then took like maybe 1 or 2, he'd still be okay. But unfortunately, he just ate everything. Well, not everything, but he ate a lot. Ate a lot. Maybe the guy was hungry. But yeah, that was round 2. Round 2 chat. Goblin Slayer taking it over Love Life Sunshine. Yeah. Not much to say. I think both decks kind of function as they should have. I think Goblin Slayer, hurting for cards a little bit, but as you could see, all he really needed was like 3 cards at the end game, plus the Climax combo, so 4 cards. Just needed the stock. The 0/0 Lizardman's a nice tech. The Mill 2 gets one effect, I think. I forgot, it escapes me right now, but it also allows you to discard, well, not discard, send a card from your hand to stock. So you generate a fair amount of stock at the cost of your hand, but again, you only need 4 cards into the end game to do a massive amount of damage. All right, so looks like we have, I'm going to surmise Bang Dream against, I think Macross. Pretty sure it's Macross. I feel like this is well, the Macross player, one of her last games until she goes to Japan for a little bit. So she probably took the opportunity to, play what she wants before she leaves. Hopefully a nice send-off. But as we know, Macross is a little bit of a older set, and as such may have difficulties in facing the one of the new boys, which is Bang Dream, especially with their power-up set as of late. He should be running an Afterglow deck. See how it goes. I think he changed a few things about his deck, though. I know because he said he wanted to last time, but didn't this last week. So we'll see, maybe we'll see some changes today. The Macross deck should be kind of a Cheryl and Ranko build, I think, with some what's his name? God, protagonist name. Insert protagonist name here. Oh god, I feel bad. Alto. That's his name. With a splash of Alto. Or maybe this is just a Cheryl-centric build too, which is also cool. A lot of the bunch of yellow tells me that it might actually be. And of course, the Bang Dream is confirmed. Afterglow. So a bunch of alarm effects into the the strong fever game from the woohoo, that SP flex from the Cheryl-centric deck there. Shoutouts. The card is relatively weak on the Afterglow side, so we'll see what cross-player wants to do. Of course, as another set, you just generally just gonna beat over your opponent with cards, turn them sideways. Hope they stick. That's the idea. Okay, plays 2 in the direct slot. Maybe doesn't want to contest. Again, of course, like it might be possible to contest. Like she just doesn't want to do it, which is also fair, right? Because you don't want to overcommit. Because that's as an older set, right? You don't have much waste of like generate advantage as much, so you want to lose as little as possible. The double cancel from the Afterglow player, a little bit rough, especially since there's 2 CXs on the Macross player's side. But of course, he doesn't know that. But I'm sure he'll be swinging with 3 anyways. He has the alarm from the 3-2, which is a kind of Ricky effect, if you will. Yeah. Allows him to pay 1, clock the top into the lowest part of his clock in order to search for a level 1 or lower, I think, which he gets his level 1 combo, which is a Minami, of course. Now he does have a CX combo. Could not tell if that was the one he needs, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is. It's a splittable 2k1. Well, it seems like he's assembled most of his early game just fine. I think she'll be losing the board because those are 500 from what I can make out here. It's a little bit blurry, but yeah, really no contest. It might those manager for Cheryl might be a bonder of some sort to the 1-0 or something like that of that effect. I'm not actually too privy to it. Man, she draws another CX. That's rough. If I was her, I'd probably clock one of the CXs just to get it out of there. Or that works too. Depends if she has like the card advantage to keep plopping down the CXs. But I mean, she can contest the board right now, assuming they're all like level 1 or lower. That being said, though, she'll be susceptible to the level 1 combo that is the Afterglow, as her stuff is weak. I believe that is a vanilla Cheryl, just 3k. It will get over the stuff, but like, oh, see, oh, that's so rough. That's so rough. Oh, God. $2k1 draw, I think she drew off of that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that being said, though, there's only 1 card for the CX combo to get off of, right? Is it worth it? Oh yeah, she looks dead into the chat. What's it to you? Says her eyes. But anyways, but actually, yeah, that might mean like maybe the Afterglow player might just not expend the climax combo for this turn. Who knows? That being said, I'll take that back a step further. He can't because he's not at level 1. So there you go. Means to generate. Oh, there we go. Finally, a cancel for the Macross player. It's good. Wow. So he has an extra of the CX. Did she just draw into another one? My goodness. I mean, now's the time to play another CX, right? Just keep dropping them. That tells me since the Afterglow player dropped his 2k splittable, 2k1 splittable, that he has another one in hand. So his early game is ready. Yeah. Just drop it. You know you want to. Drop the 1k1. Make him regretty. Yeah, there it is. I'm not sure if it's a 2-soul though. Yeah, he runs away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, why? It's okay. This one will stick. Also for 4. No, for 3? Yeah, 3. Yeah, it is a 2-soul. God bless. And again, as an older set, you kind of have to rely on the obscene amount of damage the 2-souls can generate. Wait, wasn't that more than just... That should have been 4, right? Help me out, chat. Unless that was a 2k1. Might have been 2k1. SR 2k1. It might be a shot upon closer inspection, so it might not be a 2-soul. Which then makes sense. Because I think she did trigger off of the one that she did, 2 damage with, 3 damage with, 3 damage with. But yeah, so as the afterglow player, you're just kind of finding ways to get another 1-0 in hand. He does have the alarm up, which allows him to do so, the Ricky effect. So quite feasible. Depends how much he wants to commit to this, though. It is another stock. It is another potential card out of his deck. He's doing himself damage as well. Yeah. Okay, he doesn't need to because he has all 3. Good lord. Well, there you go. So, I mean, this is the ideal case for him, right? Nothing more that needs to be said, right? He's gonna swing over Minami combo and just find his early play piece for level 2. Oh, cancels. That's good. He's probably gonna add the 3-2 to hand. Oh, there's the early play. Checking how many cards he has left. Looks like 8. So he'll probably mill perfectly, really. Yeah, he gets the early play in hand. He'll probably just mill for a little bit less just to try to 3? Yeah. Just to try to make the CX go back. Yeah, he's checking the amount. Because he has to trigger 1 and then has to search, right? So yeah, he's going to stop there. Makes sense. Yeah. And then his swing is final one. It is a gold bar. So blind stock. That's a little bit rough for him because like he was expecting it not to be. So he has more choices, right? Minami effect. He cannot. It is not a target. Wait. What just happened? You just checked the top. How does that work? That's a little bit suspect, I think, but we'll see. Because if he used the Minami effect, he would have had to reveal that card, and it would have gone back too, right? So, but I mean, he definitely looked at it, I think. So it should have gone back into his deck instead of staying on top. Because now he basically guaranteed cancels, right? It's not like Minami effect is like you can reveal top, right? And check. You legit mill. Or do you reveal? I don't know the exact wording on it anymore. But I feel like you check up to the top, right, and then add 1, and if not, you ditch the rest. So that climax would have ditched. Oh, I mean, yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. There we go. So we are good right now. She's just crashing. Dealing damage. It's a little bit unfortunate that she doesn't have another swing. But of course, like I said, as an older set, it's a lot tougher to generate advantage, especially since you lost set cards. Oh my god, dude. Really? You always gotta cancel on the 4th card? What a good player. Yeah, so it's a little bit rough, right, in terms of hand advantage for the Macross player. Earlier, as I mentioned, she probably should have clocked those climaxes, or at least one of them, to level up, which would have seen her get like 1 more back in than would have not. But what are you gonna do? And she didn't get brainstormed either, so I think at this moment her deck is like quite riddled with character cards, other cards, not named CXs. So this is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. Wonder if he's gonna early play. Is he gonna early play? Might get the fever off. Not very hard to reverse. I believe a very small card. No, he just plays it again. He has the other climax combo. There we go. 4, 3, 2. Bam, level 2. I mean, so I guess technically they're even. Gets the Minami effect. Not that it matters. No other cards needs to be beaten over. He's gonna get the early play, right? I mean, right? Oh, no, it gets a 2-1. That gets power off of the early play, if he has it. Hopefully these all cancel because, I mean, they're direct attacks, but I don't know how many climaxes are in her deck left. Yeah, she might be sent to level 3 right here, right now. That was I do believe, a trigger, so. Nope. Well, she's fine. Quote unquote fine. Yeah, level 3. That's what I thought. Now, does she pay 3 to keep the character? That's the real question. Like, do you want to keep a swing? I think she does. No, no, not at all. That's fine. 1 card left in deck. Ah, God. Clock the climax, I guess. Event? Alright. Yeah, so the particular player for the Macross, plays every now and then, so some of the nuances I think she might have to look over again, as I mentioned. A little bit unfortunate, of course, for her because she drew a bunch of climaxes. Still draws a bunch of climaxes. So I mean, there's not much you can do about that. That's actually really rough for her. And I mean, even if you were a quote-unquote good player, right? If you drew onto all those CXs, you'd still be hard-pressed to try to overtake any opponent. Especially since there's no no real good way of an outlet to ditch those cards with in Macross, or at least none that I can see in her deck right now. Yeah, she's just swinging, because I mean, what else can you do? Oh, climax combo. I think she bounces, tries to do more damage, which is fine. Because her only hope right now is like deal as much damage as possible, cancel as much as possible, and being able to probably do this one more time. Unless she just cancels outright. That's cool too. No, it's not. It's extremely rough for the Macross player. They'll probably be losing all those cards again. But I mean, at this point, you probably would pay like at least 3 stock to save one of them. Afterglow player in a completely fine state, I think, right now. He drew another CX, but that's, I don't think, too much of a problem. He's probably going to early play a bunch of stuff. He has so much stock. Yeah, he's just going to refresh, because, like, why not? Pretty compressed. I don't think there's a single climax in there. Just 2 in hand, so that means 6 back. Math is hard. But he finishes the brainstorm, and then we'll see what he gets to salvage, I think it is. Yeah. Nope, it's definitely a search. Yeah, I mean, he finds the 1-0 again just because he can. He has the CX. Gets to mill 4 again for a harder compression. Now, it gets harder and harder if for a well-compressed deck to keep like always milling 4. So at some point for the afterglow player, you're gonna have to like be a bit more conservative with the amount you mill. Such that because your deck is more compressed, the chances of you hitting climax on your turn is also higher. With the refresh climax there's also now only 5 left in the deck. So if he like mills wrongly, or if he greets wrongly and reveals like 4 climaxes, like the Macross can take it if she cancels everything. Yeah, there's the early play. Early play chooses a character heal 2 memory. It's a good card. Yeah. So we'll just see how he wants to swing. Really, it's just the real story is if Macross cancels everything or not right now. Dictates if the game goes on or not. Yeah, Minami. Yeah. So he's a bit more careful, as you can see. He mills the first characters he sees and just takes it. Oh gosh, he didn't cancel like any of those. Yeah, at this point he doesn't care. He's just gonna mill for all 4. Basically, he's got it. So we'll see if she cancels this. He does trigger a 2-soul though. Yeah. So if she does live for 1 more turn, I'd probably pay 3. Pay 3. You should do it. You really should. The stock doesn't matter. You're at 3-6. You can't clock. You have 2 climaxes in hand. Just pay 3. Pay 6. Do it for me. Do it for me, please. You need those cards. There's no telling what you draw. It could be another climax. You should pay. You should just pace. Yeah. Do it again. Do it. Oh, okay. Fine. I'll concede that. Draw a character. Do it for me. That is a character. Okay, so now the other win con, of course, is I mean, she just everything she hits sticks and everything she hits triggers, right? And he doesn't cancel anything, which is very far stretched because I'm sure he still has climaxes left in there. He milled that 1, so there's 4 left, I think. My math is not wrong. There's 4 left in there, so chances are held up. See you guys. She has to deal 10 damage unanswered, so they would all have to be on the bottom. She didn't trigger that one either. She didn't trigger this one either. Level 3 though, close game, at the very least, so that's nice. If both players are level 3, it's a close game, don't you know? I think she said close game to the chat. You might as well just crash, really. I mean, if she somehow deals like 5 and then the reforged damage hits, that is also a thing. But I'm also certain that it will cancel right here. Yeah, he had like 4 left after taking the rest of those. Yeah, so I think she paid 3 to keep that one. I'm not sure if I agree, just because if you're at 3-6, you just want to have them deal as much damage as possible. I mean, he plays his Mochas, which is basically a death sentence right now, right? So with the climax combo, he gets to check like the top 2, 3, and decides what stays there. So. Just refreshes his deck, of course. And it is a search, so he's just searching now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he has enough for a 3rd Mocha. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. There's like 4 in there with 1 in hand, I think. So 5 out, 3 left. So even if she had 3 left, the Mochas would just kick it out. And if it wasn't part of the 3, then she dies anyways. Yep. And he'll probably drop the CX gold bar because we know he triggered a gold bar. Why are you taking a look at your waiting room? Just play the game. Has the alarm effect if he wants. Gets another one. In case. Safekeepings. Why not? I mean, I say he should just, swing, but like doing this just ensures the off chance that, there is a next turn. He'll be ready for it, right? So kudos for him to just run through all the ways that he wants to seal the game with. Yep, he's just gonna keep it. He's just gonna he gets rid of that. Yeah. Yeah, well, a little bit rough from the Macross player, um, but I think she played fine. As an older set, you gotta, and I mean in general too. If you have a lot of stock but not much to do with it, there then becomes the point where you have to debate. You know, do I spend 3 to keep this character? Because as you know, there's every card has an inherent. I wouldn't say every card. Every character card has an inherent pay 3 to keep this card on the field, or quote unquote encore, right? So um, she could have saved cards that way based on her stock, because it's not like she really used the stock. Of course, the name of the game is compression, but um, she was struggling to get most of her swings out there too. So uh, who knows? Maybe she did more damage. Was pulling for you, Macross. Yeah, yeah. You always want to see the underdog, right? Or the more some of the more obscure sets. So I feel you, Sigma Flare. Um, yeah, I agree. Always fun to see old sets. But yeah, so there you go. Not too much on the side of the Macross player. We did see like a little funny bounce combo, um, but outside of that, um, pretty vanilla overall. Of course, as an older set, you tend to be. Um, oh yeah, she's showing off her jacket. She's repping that series. Oh, Fire Bomber. Let's go. Makurasu. Yeah, there we go. At least she's repping, man. There we go. Advertising. That's how you do it, chat. That's how you do it. But yeah, as I mentioned, I mean, Afterglow player played immaculately. Stemmed his level 1 combo multiple times. Compressed the heck out of his deck. He had like maybe 9 stock or something going into his like level 3 or something. So just overall well played by him. Given the situation. Let's get some bread too. Got some bread too. Yeah, I'll send them across. I think a little bit of the nuances would be should be reviewed, right? So uh, always sucks having a lot of climaxes in your hand, but if you have no feasible way to like discard them, um, then clocking them, I guess, would be the next best thing because they can't be played as a character, right? And if you have a lot in hand, you're gonna be playing them every turn anyways. So, and more swings probably means hopefully more cards into the stock, which means higher chances of whatever climaxes left in the deck will hit, hopefully, instead of being triggered, hopefully, right? Um, as I mentioned, as an older set, it is rougher because you lack the outlets most sets now have. Newer sets that have nowadays, right? So most of them do contain, your level 0 utility that says like, hey, if you play me, ditch a climax, you get to salvage. Outlets like that, right? With an additional effect, usually with an additional effect of some sort. But yeah, the older series don't really have too much. Like at best, maybe like a drop search. Yeah, I don't think she ever got a brainstorm out either. I'm not sure if she runs brainstorms either, but a brainstorm would have been nice too, just to help mill out the deck, especially since she had like a lot of stock anyways. But yeah, that is round 3. Round 3. So we'll be waiting probably for a 4-0 match. I will be right back, chat, for game 4. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we are back. This looks like the 4-0 game. To our left, we have a player I haven't seen in a while. Glad to see him back though. If it is as tradition stands, he will be playing Raise Zero, but we'll see. Nice mat too, of course. I mean, with Raise Zero sleeves, it's all but confirmed, but we'll see. Sleeves are, you know, of course, very misleading at times. We saw the explosive power of Goblin Slayer in round 2 against Love Life Sunshine, so can't expect more of the same. They will have a little bit tougher time beating the Rem, I think, because Rem soul suppresses. Man, it's been so long since anyone's played ReZero, so I don't actually know. I mean, ReZero looks pretty good though. He got like 2 runners. I see 2 runners there. What about our friend Goblin Slayer? Might have 1. I am unsure. Okay, so ReZero starting things off, clocking a climax. Not ideal, of course, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Plays the runner. Plays another one just to block it, which is fair. Good play. Through the center. 2 sticks. Passes turn. So the power of I think it's a mill runner. Should be a mill runner. You get closer to a climax, hopefully. You don't hit the climax. And you also run in front of another slot if it's too low, right? To decrease damage that way. He does have 1 runner. But is he going to extend any more? Is the real question here. He also got the Brainstormer, which is nice. Yeah, just yeah. So he mills 1. There he goes, and he's just gonna do that. He's gonna return two cards to get an extra soul, probably because he can't beat over or doesn't want to trade. I think the mill runners are 2K, while as the elf, archer elf, is only 15, so him not wanting to 3. Okay, so there you go. Extra trigger did it. Cancels. There we go, clock draw 2. Quite strong early game from the ReZero player, of course. Ideal to have like the 2 runners. I mean, he can still just throw a direct attack slot. He does expend another card. Of course, Goblin Slayer does have the level 1 reverse combo mill 3 salvage, so might err a little bit of. Would you have just 2 things to swing, gain 2 stock? Because your early game is fine right now, right? If you want to play around it, and 2 runners makes the fact that he needs to play 3 in order to kill 2 make more sense. No, he's just gonna go for it. Yeah, just gonna go for it. I would crash this one, actually. That's what I would do. Yeah. So for 2, cancels. Oh man, I would have crashed that unless he got power. And even then, I'd give power somewhere else because I would like it to crash. Because then again, he would have to commit 3 cards in order to reverse everything, rather than now being able to commit 2. Now, as the he drew his CX. As the ReZero player with a mill CX, right? You can always mill without running because the effect is still there. But then it gets to the point where do you even want to do that, right? Because like he hasn't hit a climax yet, and he's gone through a couple cards already. So, you know, if you mill now, is it going to be a climax that you mill right now? So got to debate about that every now and then. But I mean, we'll see. That is the thing you have to think about when you're running mill runners. Now the real question is, does he have a 1-0 in hand? I think he does. He just let's get the max benefit from it, really. No, he just plays. I think he just didn't want to trigger, so he wanted to swing for 2 to get him to 5 to keep him at the low game. Because he's not at level 1 either, sorry. So yeah, that's my bad. I didn't see the fact that he wasn't at level 1. Obviously, he wouldn't be able to play his stuff. So, and I can see why he did that as well. So low commitment to the board in case of losing any cards. Maybe he doesn't want to commit anything anyways, or he can't commit anything anyways. So not a bad move. Blue is active. I think he runs the Maguro combo from Emilia at the level 1 game. Not that he needs it right now. There's like nothing to reverse or anything like that. He can still run off of just the runners. Yeah, triple. Well, 3 of a kind. Let's go. Yeah, see, at this point though, I'd also try to just crash the other card, right? Because that allows you to whatchamacallit? That allows you to make him commit, having to commit more cards than he would want to otherwise. Does hit 3 though, so 1/3. Becomes ahead of damage, but Goblin Slayer will have the turn to amass his level 1 game as well, which allows him to salvage a lot of cards depending on what he mills. He gets another CX though, so not ideal. Yeah, he has like 3 or 4 in his waiting room already with 2 in hand. So I'm sure he will be brainstorming, yeah. Brainstorm 6, 3, and 3. Whiffs. Both torches go to waiting room. A little bit rough. Yeah, there's the 2 elves. Yeah, he wants to hit the runners. Makes sense. And the dwarf that if you trigger the particular climax, you get to salvage. It's pretty nice. Does have the climax combo. Plays it. So he will mill through his deck anyways, so hopefully he gets what he needs. Potential to mill 3 cards here. He hasn't been really hitting a bunch of climaxes, so it really depends how many he wants to mill. Doesn't mill at all. So he mills 3, gets a salvage 2. What does he need? Yeah, just the stock gen card and the runner. Basically, I mean, you're just gonna continuously just keep getting cards in hand, so you can just like kind of throw at him up until your level 3 game. You get to salvage 1. What does he need? I mean, he can get the early play Goblin Slayer. Unless it's a salvage a yellow card. Yeah, gets another dwarf. Yeah, he's okay with that. And then he swings lastly with the dwarf for shot, 3 shot. Everything sticks. I believe that's level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, he was 1 off. Yeah, so all the cards die. Yeah. Let's see if he can dig out that 1 CX though. If he does early play, he might be able to, so it's not too surprising. Draws 2, another climax. It's not ideal. He has an outlet, or he plays it this turn. That'd be nice. 6 cards it looks like on the deck, so 1 brainstorm will be unable to do it. Wonder how he's going to get out of this. Level 2, he plays the 2/1. I don't exactly know her name. Same one as the runner. Allows her to free fresh. It looks like 5 or less, maybe. Yeah. Early plays 3/2. And calls and finds a Reinhardt, I think, which is the 2K backup. Pretty good card overall. However, that is the 2 climaxes that aren't going back. At least he doesn't take a damage though. That's nice. There's the early play Rem, 2 or less CXs. He has 2 of them, so they are out. Every time they reverse, they will get a marker, and then they just keep getting big. So Goblin Slayer will probably have some difficulty in taking them out. They'll just be cards continuously on the field until probably the end of the game, where he just Goblin Slayer is just probably gonna try to deal damage until he can just end it with his Musashis and the dwarf combo. Didn't play a CX though, so that's interesting. I think he has 2, so. Yeah, gets the stock 1, so he will have the stock generation based on the 3/2. Search a card and stock it. Fitting out the deck that way. Pretty nice, especially because you can early play it with the 2/1. Refresh from Goblin Slayer, which is actually quite nice because like he has like 7 cards still left in his clock, 6 cards left in his clock, so those won't be going back. Yeah, refresh damage unfortunately is the climax. Not much you can do about that. No anti. Oh, cancels at the very least, gets a marker. So the realms are pretty big right now. Not much more you can do as the Goblin Slayer right now in the level 2 game, I don't think, except for just getting cards and just keep going face. He does have the 0/0 to amass more stock. He will need about approximately 6-ish to be comfortable playing his end game. So more cards he has there, the better. They're all 3/2. They're all really big. Runner comes into play here really because he can put 2 cards back into his deck, which is probably going to be 2 cards that are stock soul triggers, and some more chances at the end game working out in his favor, as well as dealing more soul, right, than otherwise you would have had. Early play Farm Girl, 2 or less CXs, you get to search or draw or reveal up to number of order characters on the field and add 1 to hand, add a card to hand. I think it's yeah, I think it's just any card, so he's okay. And then he plays the Mills CX, so I think he gains an additional effect, as well as putting 1 card in his hand to stock. Yeah, so he's fine. Kind of recovered his 3/2 that way. 3/2 early play. He's not gonna get over the Rems, but he's gonna get over the whatever her name is from Re:Zero. I haven't watched Re:Zero, so I don't actually know. Yeah, but he is gonna opt to dish 2 cards back in for the extra soul in order to deal that amount of damage. Oh, okay, so anti-change happened there. Pay 2. Oh, sorry, pay 1 and then pay additional 2 sack 1, I think it was. So he lost his Farm Girl there. Lost another swing. 3 sticks though, so the soul damage is nice. Also triggers on that. Well there you go, right? So that ideal from Goblin Slayer. The fact that he's level 3 is already quite the victory for him, because the dwarf end game just needs a few more. He would have probably liked 1 more in stock though, so that the anti-change kind of boned him a bit. Of course, Re:Zero feeling like he's able to do that because like the realms are still going to be up. His investment in the level 3 game is going to be too bad at all. So plays the Amelia. Hope he does the draw and ditch one. I think it's a must, right? So he has to do it. Oh, maybe not. Cancels. Re:Zero right now wants to do as much damage to him as possible, in hopes of like at least living. Yeah, at least living, right? So living the dwarf and then trying to finish him the rest off. That cancel is quite nice, but of course, like also planned by Goblin Slayer, of course, right? The fact that you lose all your cards means there's also an open field by the level 3s, which means they'll be doing a lot of damage, um, meaning higher chances of canceling, but not in this case, it seems. But Goblin Slayer, again, just fine, as we've seen the ceiling endgame. He killed Love Life Sunshine from 2-4. ReZero right now at 3-0, right? So only 7 damage to stick. If he can get, again, his 2 Musashis, the Lizard, Shaman, into the Dwarf, into the combo, then he is just dandy. Not much stock to work with, though, it looks like. I would say at least 4 cards. So he has to be a little bit more selective. Pay 2. Heal 1. Yeah. What's he gonna do? Is Dwarf even in the waiting room? That's the real question. He looks like it is. Looks like it is. I don't think he has enough to play his Musashis. Slash, he doesn't really have them, right? So he's basically only relying on Dwarf for this, I think. Does he play a Dwarf? He won't really have much stock. He can play a 0-0, mill 2, add another card to stock, and then swing twice before swinging the with Dwarf. But I think that's the way you'd have to do it. Doesn't look like he can get away with. Looks like he needs to play Dwarf though, and that's a little bit rough. From hand. Yeah. There's just 2, and then he has to choose 1 card and put in the stock, which he kind of really needs to do. Probably the other CX. Yeah. Thinking about it. Yeah. Another CX. Plays the 3-2. Yeah. And this allows him to draw 1 card, I think. Oh, he has to ditch a card if he plays the 3-2 from hand. On Climax play, he swaps to the Dwarf. Okay, so here we go. I mean, he's just trying to do self-damage at this point now, right now. So 3, 4, cancels. That's fine. Get those out of there. The true impact will be the Dwarf that does the mill. And of course, he aimed to have the refresh in order to do so for the maximum. Ooh, another CX there. Yeah, so that's reversed. And yeah, he's just going to swing with a 0. Does 2. 2 also cancels. That's fine, because he needs this to stick. 0, 1. Oh my god, that is the worst mill. So burn 1. Oh, and only for 3. And he cancels. So that's super rough. So as you can see, in round 2, where he high rolled into 4 damage times 4 ones, 4 burn ones. He only burned 1 this time because he milled only 1 soul trigger. So that's a bit rough. He does get over the 1 rem because the one in the middle got big. Let's see how ReZero wants to finish this though. Asking how big this guy is, it doesn't really matter. He just needs 3 damage, especially since there's like another like already a fair amount out. I'd say like 3-4 out from Goblin Slayer. You have to play 1, ditch 1. You got hit with 1. hit with one with the refresh, I mean. But he plays a 3-2 Amelia. I think it's the oh no, he's just going at it. So the early play 3-2 was the yellow one playing a lot of dividends for the ReZero player. For every time it swings, he keeps adding a card from the deck to the stock. So he's been compressing his deck like all the time. And then paying more to cancel burn, I think. So I'm not exactly sure of the effects of that card. Oh, he just dies here. Yeah. Rough endgame for the Goblin Slayer. And so ReZero takes it. That is it for our weekly at Sentry Box for Weiss. It's good to see our ReZero player coming back again. He was out for a long time. He actually didn't have any climaxes left though after that. But I mean, Goblin Slayer had to be extremely lucky to live past all of those 3 swings anyways. But yeah, as you can see, like since he got the 3-2 out so early, he compressed like a bunch of cards from his deck. Like I think it was like 3 or 4 cards every swing, plus like being clean for most of his stock as well. Like he might have triggered one more book that I remember maybe, but other than that, right, he was like clean throughout. So like all those cancels at the very end were also very timely from him working that compression game. But yeah, so you see a bit more of the gambling powers of the yellow Goblin Slayer build, right? High roll, low roll. It was a bit unfortunate, of course, that he couldn't get the his Musashi's out, because I think that would have also been a very different game if he had the stock to have like 2 more Musashis as well, because then those cancels would have turned into more like just 1 or 2 damage, which would have been, you know, a little bit closer to what he needed to finish the game with. But yeah, so that is it for us this week. Tune in next week. I know we didn't have a game firing this Wednesday due to lack of participants. Unfortunately, we were 1 short. But we will hopefully see each other next Wednesday, and if not too bad. We will be here next Friday. I'd like to thank everyone again for watching, as always, and feel free to please leave a message or tweet at us if you have any tips or complaints or suggestions that you would like to see. We will gladly incorporate them or try to into our streaming and make it more enjoyable for you guys. So until next week, hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will catch you later.